Today's guest is Caitriona Byrne, the CEO of Bypress. Her career in the global gaming industry has taken her across continents, but it was the call of home that led her back to Ireland to launch Bypress. In this episode, Caitriona shares her journey as the founder, the lessons she's learned, and the innovative services Bypress delivers, from strategic business support and operational solutions to sales enablement and administration. With a team that treats your business as if it were their own, Bypress is helping companies operate efficiently with innovation and heart. This episode was brought to you by Top Drawer Talent, the supply chain and procurement recruitment specialist. Let's get into it. Here we go. Caitriona, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's probably a long time coming, this podcast.
Unbelievable.
I think we've been working together, 3 years?
3 years.
Yeah,
3 years.
Time flies.
It really does.
You're the backbone of Top Drawer Talent.
Thank you very much.
But your company is a credit control company and outsourced kind of administration.
Yeah.
Well, what is it exactly that you do?
So it started with credit control.
Okay.
Started with credit control quite by accident. I'm qualified in credit control. Two ladies that are now my managers and the backbone of my company. Yeah. They're both qualified with a diploma in credit management. Okay. So it started with an outsourced credit control service, which obviously you've worked with us for a long time, so you're familiar with that. So the whole thing emerged and started to grow arms and legs, because if you're working on the credit control for a company, you get to see the insights of the company that even the accounts people wouldn't see. You get to see what the good, the bad and the ugly in terms of the money going in, the money coming out. So we had a number of small clients that were really happy with what we did and asked, have you ever done some bookkeeping? Have you ever done, some customer service? Okay. And we kind of grew from there. And there was a niche, and there's a lot, we're confused a lot of the time with virtual assistants, and virtual assistants are fantastic. Nothing. I had a virtual assistant myself. Right. But we're more business managers, so we don't pick up somebody's dry cleaning. We don't book flights. That sort of stuff would come under the realm of a virtual assistant, somebody that is assigned to the person. Yeah. We work for the company, so we would be managing the finances of the company. Right. But we also do it, the difference between us and others is we also do it with very, very salesy heads. So our main thing with credit control is, if we're bringing in a payment for a client, is there more scope for business within that client? Okay. So thanks for arranging that payment, brilliant. How are you doing today? What's going on there today? Is there anything that we can quote for? So we're not just order takers.
And you're then passing that on to the client, basically.
We're then passing that on to the client.
And then the difference, a virtual assistant as well sometimes sits outside in a foreign country and in a lower paid country, but you guys are in country helping people on the ground.
We are obviously a lot of the times remote from the client, but we have a base in Kilkenny. We've got a proper office. The ladies, we do a hybrid structure. Okay. So there are certain days in the office and certain days at home. It was the blessing in disguise when COVID hit, and it kick-started what we were doing, to be fair, because there was that sort of culture there that people thought certain jobs could only be done when you're under the nose of the boss. Yeah. I still believe there are certain jobs that only can be done within the office, but what we do can be done on an outsourced and on a remote basis, and arguably can be done better on an outsourced basis, and that's the biggest thing.
And were you always entrepreneurial like this? Did you always want to have this type of business, or did it just kind of naturally happen?
It naturally happened. Okay. I was actually, when I started the business, I was actually just about to give birth to my first child. Okay. So, and the question was kind of put to me, once it was 3 weeks before the due date. Yeah. And I hadn't a clue what I was going to do, whether I was going to go back. I was working elsewhere at the time. Yeah. Was I going to go back to the office? I had the same issue that most women in this country have, the issue of childcare and the issue of not really wanting to be away from that baby. It's a natural thing as well. So I decided at that point I would go out on my own and started off with 3 clients. And Emily, she's worked with me the longest. John is nearly 7, so it's 7 years ago now. She's still with me, and that's it. It's grown arms and legs, and the amount that we've crammed into 7 years is incredible. It's
crazy.
Absolutely incredible. We have 24 clients now, and we're on a steady growth trajectory now as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And was it like just because you became pregnant, you wanted to stay home? That was when the entrepreneur kind of sparked in you. It's like I have to kind of make the life happen around me rather than.
I think I'm very like what traditionally would have been the man going out and earning the bacon and bringing it home.
Okay.
That role is kind of reversed in our house, and I know my partner would have no objection to me saying this.
Yeah.
He is the backbone of the family. He gets the kids out to school in the morning. He most of the time he'll pick them up from school because I work incredibly long hours.
Yeah.
In every house you have to go where the money is.
Yeah.
And I was, my partner's a qualified painter, does very well, but the business needed a lot more time, and so he kind of decided to take a step back. And I'm, I try as much as I can be around to rear the children, but he definitely does way more than the average dad does.
Okay.
So I'm very lucky.
Go him.
Very lucky. Go him. Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely. Well, yes.
How then? Taking it all the way back, right?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get on in school? Like, was this like the plan to always be in credit, or did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up?
No, I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
When I was way younger, I wanted to be a teacher, and I think as an entrepreneur, there are certain elements of teaching anyway, because you've got the vision, you've got the plan, but you need the team that you have to buy into that, and you need them to understand that in order for it to happen, because no entrepreneur is on their own.
Yeah.
You have to have a team. So I wanted to be a teacher. Went through school. I was fairly average in school. I wasn't, I didn't really excel in anything as such, but I earned fairly good grades. Went along through secondary school, didn't really enjoy it. There were certain subjects that I was always drawn to. I would have been more the creative side of things. So I did art, I did languages, I really liked English and stuff like that. Mathematics, not my strong point, coincidentally enough, being that I'm in credit and a business owner. But
it's totally different, because some people do really well in business studies, but then don't do well in maths.
I didn't do business studies.
Oh, okay.
I did not do business studies. So a lot of, when I hired my first accountant when I started my business, and he was referring to the P&L, and I had to go and Google what the P&L was. I hadn't a clue. Hadn't a clue. So you learn as you go, and I think the biggest thing about being successful in anything that you do, whether it's in business or in home life or whatever it is surround yourself with people who know, and don't be afraid to ask the questions, and don't be afraid of looking foolish, because you look more foolish if you pretend you know something and then you get caught. So I didn't do business. Went through school. I went and started a degree in applied languages in DCU.
Okay, and was languages then? Like, were you good at languages in school?
I was good at languages, yeah. I was good.
So, and what was the language that you specialised in, or was
French.
It one? French, okay.
French. Don't ask me to speak it, please. It's a long time since I've spoken French. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved France. I loved the culture. I loved the language.
Right.
So it was a bit of a romantic thing. I loved France.
Had you been on holiday as many times to France?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where it kind of stemmed from.
Yeah.
And did you have plans that you wanted to move and live in France?
Oh,
or?
absolutely. I was moving to Paris. Never made it there. Never made it there. But I was going to go the whole hog, have this one of those beautiful little apartments in a Parisian town. Not a hope of it. No, didn't happen. I went to DCU to do applied languages, and this was the thing. And this at the time, and I don't know how it is now, but at the time, the career guidance that we got was like the lady that we had. She was a lovely lady, and more power to her. She was a lovely teacher. But the career guidance only focused on the subjects that you could do, not on what your skill set may or may not be. So I went and did applied languages, and then discovered that the languages part was actually quite a small part of the course. That there was economics to do, there was linguistics to do, and that was of no interest to me. It was of no interest to me.
Get you.
So I finished after year one, failed left, right and centre. I'm not afraid to say it. Failed miserably left, right and centre. And I suppose my parents at that stage, I'd say they were worried. They were kind of like, okay, well, what? Because again, it was the generation, you're going to college, there's no question about this. You have to do something. And I took up an arts degree in Maynooth, and it all changed. I did English, history and French. Loved it. Got in with a really, really great group of people, a great group of friends that we're all, you know, we don't speak every day, but we're all still friends to this day.
That's right.
And that was what I got my degree in. Again, I didn't over excel. I'm not. Yeah.
Were you like, and that first year that you failed, right? Like, were you like out messing and kind of drinking and kind of partying?
Yeah.
Like, was that like I've been set free kind of thing?
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Like I was 18, 17, 18, I can't remember exactly which, but it's like you're trapped in that home environment, trapped. Look, we lived at home, as simple as that. But then suddenly you were your own person. You could come and go as you pleased. You could go to the pub. You could go wherever you wanted to go. And the freedom just absolutely went to my head. Yeah. Went to my head.
Did you know, like, before you started that course, like, did you know kind of what the subjects would be, or did you just apply thinking, oh, this is great?
I just applied thinking, oh God, this is great. This is great. This will get me a job in languages, which is what I thought I wanted.
Okay, to go down the teacher road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then you've done the arts degree.
Yes. Yeah.
What was different from the arts degree to the languages?
I think the arts degree was a more general degree.
Okay.
So it wasn't so bespoke like the applied languages was. So again, it's applied languages. It's having the language but being able to apply it. So it would be more for people who want to become business translators and stuff like that. That wasn't what I was interested in. Yeah. I wanted my apartment in Paris. But went into the arts degree, and I do think as well that there's so much to be said. It's not just down to the subjects, it is down to the college that you go to, it's down to the group of people that you're with, it's down to the life that you create through student life. The year that I spent in DCU was a pure mess. It was a pure mess. I didn't really make any great friends there. It was a pure mess, simple as that. Yeah. When I started in Maynooth, I think I was really lucky. I fell in with a really bunch of really grounded people who were able to balance the partying with studying and so on, and everything just started to click.
Okay. And did you have a job then while you were in college or while you were in school?
Yeah, I worked several jobs when I was in college.
Okay.
When I was in Maynooth, I worked in Barbarastown Castle for a while as a waitress, and I also worked in the Supermax there. Okay. I was in 6 a.m. every morning at Supermax to clean the place. Okay. I was a cleaner, and I worked 2 jobs while studying as well. So that helped put me through college.
Sure. Did you have a job while you were in secondary school, or was your first job in college?
No, I had a job. I had several jobs in secondary school as well.
What was the very first job you had in school?
What was the
very, very first job that you ever had?
I was always babysitting when I was younger anyway, but that then went to hospitality. So I was always working as bartending, waitressing, that kind of thing. There's a local hotel there that I worked in for years. Yeah.
Was it hard? Because you're from the country, right? Like, was it hard to get a job at that age?
It's like a different planet.
You're down the sticks.
I'm from Kilkenny, rural Kilkenny. I'm from Henry Shefflin country, so Ballyhale is the name of the place I'm from. So
the fields.
The fields.
Oh, joking.
We see Henry's house from Ballyhale. So, no, I am from Ballyhale.
You get a job making pearls.
No, and I'm actually living in Ballyhale now. It's gone full circle. You know, I lived abroad for a number of years in several different countries. Right. And I've now made my way home, and I'm literally 3 minutes from where I grew up. Okay. So I'm home.
Hometown.
So yeah, no, it wasn't difficult to get a job back then. Rural Ireland was thriving a lot more than it is now. Yeah. We had 3 pubs in Ballyhale at one stage. Recently there was a little cafe and a shop, and that closed down. Yeah. It's really shameful that we've lost so much enterprise. Even recently, there's a little village across from Ballyhale called Stonyford, and there's a shop there that has been there since I was a child. I don't know how long, but he's recently had to close his doors because nobody is there to take it over. So, at the time when I was younger, it wasn't that difficult to get a job, and I was good. There's no question about it. I was very good. I was always on time, worked hard. So I kept the jobs that I got throughout school.
Okay, so that kind of kept you ticking over.
Kept me ticking over, yeah.
Did it take you long to get a driving license, or? Yeah.
I did not get my driver's license until, what age am I now? 44 now. I'd say it was about 7-8 years ago. I was really late getting my driver's license.
God, because people from like the country, right? I know you're from the city and the country, right?
Yeah, yeah.
they normally get their driving license a lot earlier in life, right?
She'd be driving the tractor around. That farmers, they get the driver's license.
Okay.
No, I actually, when I finished university, I didn't get my driver's license when I was very young, like when I was in school. It didn't come up. It wasn't necessary.
Right.
Because I worked in Knocktofer, which is the next village over, and my mum used to bring me. Simple as that.
Okay.
So it was something that I put on the long finger for many, many years, and then finally bit the bullet and got it.
Yeah. Was that just like nerves, or just no interest, or just wasn't?
No, I lived
necessary?
abroad.
Okay.
I lived abroad, so I lived for a number of years in Spain. I lived another number of years in the Netherlands. I lived in Israel. I lived in India. A lot of different places where I just didn't want to learn. And when I was in Holland, for example, in the Netherlands, I mean, there was just no need for a car. The public transport system is nothing like it is here. You know, it's you plan on the public transport system. Yeah. So that was why it was left so late. It was just, there was never a need.
You're a free spirit. But when you finished college then, is that when you started to travel, or did you work in Ireland for a bit?
No, worked in Ireland for a bit. So that was I would say my first proper job.
Okay, what was that one?
So finished my degree, thinking, okay, I've got either go and get a job now or go on to do the teaching qualification. The name of it escapes me now. You know, the additional year that you have to do.
It's in St. Patrick's anyway.
Yes, exactly. And I had to get a job because you have to live. I didn't want to move home again because I was out on my own. So I applied for a job in a telemarketing agency. Right. Didn't know what telemarketing was. Yeah. I remember going into the interview, a guy called Vincent Kelly. Haven't spoken to him for years, but I hope he's still doing well. And the name of the company was Performance Marketing. Right. And I remember him interviewing me, and he did the real old chestnut. He put a pen in front of me and said, "Sell me that pen," or it was a bag, something like that. Yeah. And he must have seen something in me that I didn't like. I hadn't ever sat and thought, I'm going to do sales. Yeah. Nothing like that. So we were hired. I was hired, and we were put on a campaign working for O2 at the time.
Right. Well, sorry, what is telemarketing, just for anyone that doesn't know?
Telemarketing is it's appointment setting over the phone. So it's not essentially sales. You don't close a sale, but you would warm up leads on the phone to either accept an appointment with a consultant or maybe invite somebody onto a demo, something like that. That would be classed as telemarketing. Yeah. So I remember working on the O2 campaign, and I was really good at it. Right. I was just really good at it. Yeah. I had no idea I would be. Yeah. And I was making a fortune at the time. Yeah, in my eyes, it was a fortune. Commission was great, and that was my first job. The best training ground ever. If you plan to go into sales, if you take on, it was a call center. Now I wouldn't say it wasn't a vicious call center. You get some call center environments. Yeah. And when I say vicious, I mean, you know, there's vicious competition, and some of those jobs can be pretty rubbish. Yeah. Pretty rubbish, toxic. You know. But this was a really nice call centre. I learned a hell of a lot. After we finished with the O2 campaign, I was actually moved on to a campaign for performance marketing. So I was going out looking for people to hire us to do their sales and stuff. And like I said, I got the best training, the best learning, and I never let go of that experience and that skill set that I developed there. Yeah. So sales came into every single thing that I did after that.
Okay, and then was that when how long did you stay in that job for, and then when did you decide to kind of move?
I met my ex-husband in that job. Okay. And I stayed in it probably 2 years, 3 years, and from there we moved to Spain together. Right, okay. And then I worked in Gibraltar. Right. So I lived in Spain and worked in Gibraltar.
That's very common for a lot of people,
Yeah, over the border every day with your passport. I worked for one of the gaming companies in Gibraltar.
Gaming huge out there, right? Like all the bookmakers have offices.
Yeah. And I was the head of I was the head trainer out there for a long time. So I used to train people how to play poker, which was fun. And we did a lot of travelling within that job, so I would have been brought to India and Bulgaria, all the different offices that they had around the world to do training with the customer service teams.
So when you're training them how to play poker, right?
Yeah, so they have to understand the game.
So the customer service agents, you're teaching them how to play poker so they can understand it from a customer service point of view. And this is for people like playing poker online.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
That was quite interesting.
It was, and it was very different. And an awful lot of people kind of have a bit of a giggle about it. It's like, God, that must have been a great job. It was a great job. I really loved it. The customer service was tough. It was really tough.
People angry
because
on the phone.
yeah, you're talking about like at the time. At the time, there was millions of players, and most players were fine, but you would come across really, really tricky situations as well, where you're talking about, and nobody talks enough about it, and it's only in recent years is it being talked about in Ireland now, the addiction to online gambling, and how available it was, and how people lost themselves a serious amount of money on it. So you'd have to deal with those types of individuals as well, so there was, you had to have a heart as well, in terms of what you were doing, because you're trying to protect the company and the company's interest, but there's human beings, in a lot of trouble a lot of the time. Yeah,
and would the regulations have been as like the way they are now? Like if someone was like, could only spend so much a day, or is that even in place?
There
nowadays?
used to be limits. Yes, now the limits that were put in place when I was there were definitely more in the interests of the company. So if somebody was limited to the amount that they could deposit, generally speaking, it was because there had been a bounce back of some description and the company had lost out. Okay. It wasn't at the time, now I'm sure it's all changed now, but at the time I can remember very few conversations where you would sit and say, well, this particular player is in trouble, that they've got an addiction and they can't help themselves and that's why we'll limit them. It was very much in favour of the company.
Okay, because the other person was winning. Or...
Yeah. We're talking We're talking 15, 16 years ago now. Yeah. Even longer. So things have changed.
I know, like in some of those companies, like if you're like a regular player or whatever, like you can be like flown out to events and.
And
you're getting all kinds of benefits if you're spending.
Yeah. So, if you're spending, that's the thing. I mean, the one rule about online gambling and gambling in general is the house always wins. If you keep that at the back of your mind throughout your whole gambling career, it'll always work out in favour of the house. So the benefits and the perks, they were nice, but you're still paying for them. You're still paying for them.
It's going out the back end. But so how long did you stay in that job for?
Stayed in that job 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. And then we moved from there to the Netherlands, and I started with something completely different for an IT company, an IT infrastructure company called Juniper Networks. And I came into the role to work in the UK Ireland market. And then did very well at that, and then I suppose that the top level that I got to there was the territory manager for Ireland, so I managed the partners and I managed the end users. So I was in charge of the country, if you want to put it that way, and did really, really well. Again, like learning, just the learning was off the charts.
And what was like the pull, right, to like working in these different locations? Like, was that just something that you wanted to do? Did it just naturally happen that way?
At the time, my husband at the time was Dutch, and I'm very much a home bird. And there was very little in terms of work in Ireland. It was quite bleak. So we kind of made the decision that Holland would be kind of the next best thing, and it was a home to be moving to. Hence we went to the Netherlands, and the job opportunities in the Netherlands were far better than they were anywhere else in Europe. So, and also as well, I suppose, like we had lived in Spain. I still don't speak Spanish. We were living in an area that was full of expats, so the opportunity to kind of study and learn Spanish was limited enough. But I wanted to be kind of back in a sort of an English-speaking country. Now they do speak Dutch, but they've got excellent English, and it just felt more like home to me. So that was why we moved there.
Was it a big culture shock going from like Dublin to Spain? Well, probably not, because you're in Gibraltar every day, like they're British people, right? And then going to Holland, like was the culture shock bad, or were you kind of okay?
Not really. I think I just took it in my stride. I don't think I sat and thought about it for very long. My biggest thing was to find work.
And do anything.
So if I've got work, I can do anything. We and set up home. So culture shock, no, I don't think so. And I think, at the time, the whole of Europe, like once we were a part of the EU and the EU was formed, you really kind of felt like you were home anyway, Culture shock, definitely culture shock when I went to India. Culture shock when I went to Israel. That's completely different. But certainly not the European countries.
How long were you in India for?
6 months in total.
Okay, what did you do out there?
In total, we did a really long, extensive training program as part with the gaming company, and we did a lot of training with their customer service agents out there. We were right in the center of India, called Hyderabad.
Oh, okay.
And again, it was a very weird 6 months. Like I enjoyed parts of it, but you were living in a hotel for 6 months, which first week it's a novelty, and then you just want beans on toast for your dinner. You don't want something off the room service menu. But yeah, again, it was like, culturally speaking, it was very different. You couldn't go for a walk on your own. If you went out, and again, it was this part of Hyderabad that we were in. If you went out, you were swarmed by people who would think that you've got money, and and even kind of strange stuff, like they want you to touch their children, and the white skin was something that you were stared at every step of the way. I'm sure it's different now. I mean, the world has changed so much since then, but at that stage it was very, very overwhelming as a white blonde as I was at the time. So yeah, that was very different.
And was there a few of you, or were you on your own? Or
there was a group of maybe 8 of us in total. Okay. And again, like, you were kind of lumped in with this other 7 people, and that was your family. For the time that you were there, and you were taken out of your own surroundings. It was an experience. I learned from it. Learned from it.
It's interesting.
Very different. Yeah.
I'd say it's same, a little bit different, but India as well, like a lot of Indians now travel, right? And there's a lot more globalization there as well. It probably has changed.
Yeah.
But then Israel, right? Like, what were you doing in Israel? Was it the gaming company again?
It was the gaming company again. Okay. We were actually setting up operations out there. So I went out to, again, train in certain customer service teams. There was other platforms that had been created. So we would have started, we'll say, with the poker platform. Then we were adding a bingo platform and a backgammon platform. Right. So we had to go out and set up the various customer service teams. Okay. And Israel, that was very different. That was very different. Again, living in a hotel. How bad? Yeah. Living in a hotel during the summertime, very, very hot. Got to see an awful lot of things that, ordinarily you would never see. We went to the Dead Sea and all those kind of touristy things, which were great, but the people were very different. People were very different.
I thought they were, when I was there now, I thought they were friendly enough.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But they all spoke with American accents, like when they speak English. I thought that was crazy.
So did the Dutch. They learn all their English from, like, friends. So it's kind of so the American accent is always there.
So Israel then, and did you go anywhere else then after that then, or were you back to Holland?
I spent a little bit of time in Bulgaria, in Sofia.
Is that more gaming again, or?
It was more gaming again. Yeah. So, like, even as I talk about it now, I'm kind of thinking, geez, great opportunities, to travel and see things. But from there, then we went back, and it was the Netherlands then up until the point that I came home.
Okay, all right. And did you get a job then when you came back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actively job searched from the Netherlands, and again, there was no particular reason apart from just wanting to come home. I'm an absolute home bird. Right. Just wanted to be in my own country, and I think Irish have a real bond with our country. It's as simple as that, more so than I think any other nationality. Even despite the fact that we emigrate everywhere and everywhere.
There's still that drawback.
We're drawn back to it. I wanted to come home, so I found a job as a sales manager in Galway. Right. That was in, again, a software company. It was procurement software. Worked there for about probably 2 years. A guy called Alan Phelan, who again is still in business and learned so much. Great guy, he was a real entrepreneur. Like, he was just laser focused on where he wanted the company to go. And so stayed there for about 2 years, and then decided Galway is not close enough to home, and I was moving home to Kilkenny, and that was it. Okay. And I've been there since. Yeah.
And right, so why sales, right? Like, was sales something that you knew that you wanted to do, right?
No.
Or is it just something that kind of you fell into your lap? You're good at it, and you just stick at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, like, the whole thing with sales is that the sales techniques can be trained, but if you don't have an ability to speak to people, but more importantly, to listen to people.
Yeah.
And being able to tie up the dots for them.
Okay.
That's how you're a good salesperson.
Was like your degree, right? Like your arts degree, because that would have been a lot on communication and the English language, maybe. And then because you had an interest in languages, you probably were good at speaking to people and able to communicate effectively.
I just loved talking to people.
Okay.
Just loved talking to people, and that's where in the telemarketing agency I got to talk to people all day long, and. You do get a buzz, if you are motivated, regardless of whether you're trying to get a demo or an appointment or an actual sale. That's what motivates you.
Yeah, because a lot of people think like sales is like, show me the money, like, Wolf of Wall Street stuff, but it's not. It's like...
Depends on the kind of sales that you're in.
That's true.
Depends the kind of sales you're in. Like we do, the Bypress now, the company that I own, we have a sales arm now, and that sales function. So we've got 3 in the team, and their job is to do telemarketing and telesales for clients of ours.
So this is outsourced. So companies can outsource their initial sales process to you.
Yeah. So anybody who is looking to get in front of a new market, break into a new market, if you've got a selection of people that you want to get in front of, we would do the donkey work in terms of getting you in front of that. So loads of people, try and find me somebody who loves cold calling.
Yeah.
We'll do all the cold calling, and we make sure the quality of the conversations is of a high level.
Yeah.
You will find that in a lot of different types of call centres, you'll get, you want to know that your company is being represented well. Everybody that works for Bypress, we're all of a certain age, so we've got a certain number of years of experience behind us, which is the key to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we're not too pushy. We're all about consultative selling.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to sell you something, we're trying to find you a solution.
Yeah.
It's always finding a solution to a problem.
Yeah, what's it? Sales is helping, not convincing.
There you go.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Do you want a job?
Yeah. But in terms of like sales as a career, right?
Yeah.
It's not really promoted like as a career option. Why do you think that is? Or
I think because people have that that opinion, I suppose, that it is show me the money and that you need to be a kind of a hard person to do well. And people don't like hearing no. They don't, in order to make sales, you have to get through a certain number of no's before you'll get to that yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's not promoted as a career because it's only a certain type of person that's able to take the no's and still keep going and be motivated until you get to the yes. And it's a certain type of people, just that people are afraid of it. They're afraid of being told no.
Did it take you long to get your first sale when you first went into like the sales environment?
No, but bear in mind, I didn't know I was any good at this, and I kind of thought, geez, if I get a few weeks here now and just until I decide what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But it was, I think, what endeared people to me. I was very young, and I was always, and one thing that has really, really played in my favour all the time, played in my favour makes it sound conniving, but being really honest with people.
Yeah, genuine,
I'll have several conversations with potential clients all day, every day. If they ask me something I don't know, I'll be really honest. Say, geez, you've caught me on that one.
Yeah.
Never been asked that before. But I'll go and I'll find out the answer and I'll go back to them. People have far more respect for you.
Yeah.
But you'll get a lot of younger people who feel very uncomfortable with not knowing the answer, so they'll make it up.
Yeah.
And then that's where it gets you muddy the waters there. So it's all about honesty.
Yeah. Would you recommend it as a career option, like sales?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's certainly not easy, but I would. If you have to be able to, you have to have a tough skin.
Yeah.
Tough skin. But you learn as you go. And I think, if you're honest, and if you have to kind of believe in what you're selling as well. And I find like I can't really sell something that I don't believe in.
Yeah, no.
So even when Bypress takes on a client, I really do have to believe in that client.
Yeah. Or
I have to visualize it being sold before I can take them on as a client.
Yeah.
So you have to have faith in what you're doing. If you've got faith in what you're selling, then you've got the answer to somebody's problem. You just need to find the person with the problem.
Just need to, that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
So when you're hiring now, right? Like, because you've got like a large enough team, right? Like, what are you looking for when you're hiring that salesperson or that initial kind of entry?
Very little. I am looking for somebody with a spark.
Yeah.
A spark, and what do I mean by a spark? Somebody that will sit in an interview with me and have a chat and be honest. Honesty is the big thing, and don't try and fill me with BS.
Don't bullshit a bullshitter.
Don't bullshit a bullshitter. If I ask you certain questions, I want the honest answer. People, you come across different podcasts even, interviewing techniques, don't ever slag off your last boss. That's rule number one. Don't ever, slag off the last job that you were there in. Don't ever tell them this, don't ever tell them that. That you have an honest conversation. Have an honest conversation. And if you're honest with me, I will be honest with you. And you can generally, within the first 30 seconds, I'll know if I'm going to hire somebody or not.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, right?
30 seconds.
Yeah. That comes over time, though. I don't think.
Oh God, no! Absolutely. Over time, you get to see enough people, and again, it is the don't bullshit a bullshit. You know when somebody's being honest with you, or if they're just trying to put up a good front during that interview.
You can peel cracks.
Yes, you can.
Does academic qualifications matter to you for someone coming into sales?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. It is really the person. I always say as well, and even in the interviews that I do today, it's one thing to convince me to offer you a job, but you don't just need to convince me. The two ladies that have been with me from the beginning, they're now the two managers, and they keep the show on the road. You have to convince them.
Okay.
And you have to have a personality that will fit in with our existing team, because it is all about the team. Not to sound cheesy,
it is.
but it's really true that you have to fit in. You have to be nice. You will find certain salespeople, particularly if they're experienced, that they want to come in and really talk about themselves, and this is how good I am, and that's what they think is going to get them the job. And it's not, because that's not going. That sort of braggy personality is not going to really fit in. Well, you want somebody that's going to come in and be a part of, what's there already.
I think, what was it? I'd rather have a hole on the team than an arsehole.
I've never heard that, but that's really good. Yeah. That's absolutely. Everything can be trained. And through experience, people can pick things up. But if you don't have, a nice disposition to fit in, you're not going to work out. There's going to be problems. So I'm all about the person and their personality. And then certainly, look, I have to pick these people out of CVs. So look, if they've got qualifications coming out of their ears, then that's brilliant.
Is there one specific thing that you would like to see on a CV from an academic point of view, like really good English or?
Really good English, fluent English is a big thing.
Even in Ireland, I find that there's literacy problems, right? So it's how do I navigate this process? Now, there is AI that can help with this thing, there's other things. But I find the really good salespeople can actually type a really good answer to an email and not the grammar mistakes or whatever in it. That can be a problem as well if you're selling. But something just to watch out for. But do you have any open roles at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Two open roles.
What are we looking for?
So looking for a salesperson.
Okay.
That's about as much about the role as somebody who can fit in with who we've got and be on the phones.
Okay. Do they need to have experience, or you take them
No. Experience is not necessary. It'd be nice, but everything can be trained. I want, as I said, it's very, very basic what I'm looking for. Somebody with a bit of spark, a bit of personality that I would like to talk to. And then if I would like to talk to them, then I'm thinking, well, there's other people who will want to talk to this person. Experience is great if you've got it, but everything will be trained. I do kind of, when the time comes or when the opportunity arises, I do have a kind of a laid out program for people in terms of their training process in sales.
So you have a whole training process.
And it's about 12 months long. We've got one person who's going through it at the moment. I had this great idea that you would have a kind of a sales academy type thing, and I love the idea of having somebody come in who is fresh, who isn't spoiled by other, other methods, and you can just get them fresh, teach them properly, because there's a lot of bad habits in sales, a lot of bad habits. So I would like them to go through like this 12-month program where they're being paid and they're earning commission and all that good stuff at the same time, but that they cover off telemarketing, they cover off basic communication skills, basic negotiation skills, and really kind of skills for life as opposed to just skills for sales.
It can be applied anywhere. But as a salesperson as well, right? Do you like being sold to, or do you hate being sold to? Or do you know when you're being sold to?
It depends on whether I want to buy or not.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that really does, I don't mind being sold to. If I'm in the market, I don't mind being sold to. What I really, my pet peeve is when somebody cold calls me and doesn't treat my time with the same importance that they treat their own time. As in, they launch off into their spiel straight away.
Okay.
That really, really irritates me.
Yeah, you have to let it warm.
Absolutely. And common manners, common courtesy. Connor, how are you today? Have you got a minute right now? Have I caught you on the hop?
Yeah.
And when you say it in a really informal basis like that, people tend to say, no, you're all right. How can I help you? And then you've got your opportunity. Yeah. But somebody who rings you up cold and they've got obviously their script in front of them and they're straight into it, and you're just there with the phone kind of going, they're the people I don't do it, but I want to hang up on them.
Yeah.
Because again, they haven't paid me the respect of asking am I available.
Which is fair.
Which is a small thing, but it pays back in dividends.
It's a common courtesy.
Yes.
With it. Yeah, definitely. But back to this now, right? So you're looking for a salesperson. They're going to come in. They're going to go through a 12-month sales academy.
Yeah.
Experience is nice, but if you don't have it, it's also okay.
Yeah.
I suppose. What are the working hours? Is it Monday to Friday, 9 to 5?
Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. A bit of flexibility in terms of, some evenings we have to work till 5:30 or 6 to get stuff done. But I'm very, very, I've got a great arrangement with my existing team. They're always there. Yeah. If something needs to get done,
it gets done.
Lads, let's just get it done and then we can go home. Yeah. I get phone calls, my child is sick. I've got to go to a doctor's appointment. Absolutely fine. Just go and do what you need to do. I will pay you every bit of courtesy and flexibility. Just pay it back to me. That's all I look for. So it is 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. We don't work evenings or weekends.
Brilliant.
As a general rule.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And what's your interview process then, right? Like, is it one round of interviews with this person or 2 rounds? Or?
It used to be 1 round with just me.
Okay.
It's now 3. So there's myself first.
Yeah.
Then they do an interview with the 2 managers, with Emily and Magella. And then the third part of the interviewing process is we bring them in for a couple of hours to be on the phones. We don't ask them to sell. Right. We don't ask them, they're not, you have to hit a sale in order to get the job. No, but we will ask you to make some very conversational phone calls to hear how you are on the phone.
Yeah, okay.
We've been burned before. People who said they were good on the phones and then kind of freaked out when the phone was put in front of them. And I just want to make sure that we hire people who will like the job. I don't want people who are only going to stay for a few months.
Okay, so you're actually trialling them out on the phone?
Trialling them, only for a few hours, just for them to kind of get to grips with it, and that's the 3 stages.
Sometimes that can be good though as well, to see if the person, even though they're interviewing for the job and they think they might want the job because they like you and they like the girls, it's to see if they actually like doing the job.
And see how they mix in with the rest of the team as well. Okay. And just get a taste of what it is to work in Bypress. I'm very proud of what we've created. I think we're so lucky with the people that I have working for me. I'm so lucky. They're all nice people. Not one of them. You'll find managers who will kind of say, well, I've got a team of 10 people, those 2 now, we're okay, but I wouldn't sit down and have drinks with them.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. My team they're all nice people. Apart from being very good at what they do, they're all very nice people, and they do look after the new people that come in.
Okay.
We're all very cooperative with one another.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that when I sit down and have a drink with them, because I know there's we used to have a boss that said there's 2 types of people that are sound, right? So there's people that say, you think, it's alright, it's grand, but then it's like, is he sound enough that you go for a point with him? Yeah. And that's the kind of sound you're looking for. It's like, would I go for a point with this person?
Absolutely. You have to, again, you have to fit in. You have to fit in, and I have a very good culture. We've got an excellent culture. We have a culture of support. So if a salesperson does really well, they get kudos from everybody. Yeah. But equally so, if one of our credit controllers, we've got a new lady on the team called Sophia, and she managed to pull in a significant payment recently, and she got as much kudos for that as the salespeople get. And in her one-to-one with her manager, she actually brought it up and said that was really important for her because it made her feel a part of the team, and that's really important to us, that we recognition where it's deserved.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's good. So that's your salesperson.
Yep.
What's the other, you two, do you?
It's an office administrator role.
Okay.
So it will be working for clients of ours, and it is any number of things. You could be doing bookkeeping, you could be doing invoicing, a little bit of credit control. We have launched a new service recently where we're working for installers of solar installations.
Yeah.
So we help their clients through the grant process. We do their paperwork for them.
Right.
And it's amazing how many people do not like paperwork. And I did a few myself yesterday. There's a lovely satisfaction when you get it done. It's done.
All done. Yeah.
So they could be doing that another day. They could be list building for the salespeople another day. They could be on the phones another day. It's a real mishmash of everything.
Okay.
But again, a great place to learn.
Right.
Like one of the ladies on the team now, it's her first office job with us. She's qualified with something in pharmaceuticals. I can't remember now.
Right. Okay.
So she's a really clever girl. But her first office job, so she didn't know what an invoice was, and she didn't know, basic stuff.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Everything can be trained. If you've got the right personality and the right attitude.
It's all about the attitude,
It's all about the attitude. And if you fit in well, and, there's so many opportunities for success.
Yeah. So what are we looking for, right? Are we looking for like basic level of Excel, basic level of Word, able to send an email, or can you train all that?
We can train all that. I think try and find me somebody now who can't work with those. Everybody has pretty much a certain level, some element. Even at home, if you don't have a computer, you've got an iPad or you've got a device of some description. Yeah. But all of that sort of stuff that can be sold, it can be trained.
All sales on the brain
now. All of that can be trained. It is really the personality. People buy from people.
Yeah, definitely.
And people buy from people they like. Yeah. So your likability is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and there's different people. Some people might like this person, might not the next person. So it's just,
absolutely, yeah. It's just
different personalities.
Yes, exactly. But being able to express yourself clearly, and being able to express yourself and honestly, don't put a show up for me. Be your real self, and I'm far more attracted to that than anybody who comes in with their rehearsed answers and rehearsed lines.
What's the setup in the office? Right? Is it casual dress? Is it business casual? Is it suit and tie?
Okay. So actually, I was asked that question yesterday. One of the ladies working for us, she kind of said, "Can I come in?" Because I came in one day with like leggings and a hoodie. I wasn't meeting clients, so I was kind of like really dressed down. But I again, it's not something that I've ever had to address. I've never had somebody come in exposing too much skin. Thank God. Or anything that was controversial. So business casual, I think, or just casual. We're not client facing, so we do have occasions where we'll have clients come to visit. I generally send a WhatsApp the night before and say, lads, listen, we've got Conor Foster coming in tomorrow, so you might as well wear your suits, please, just to give them the heads up. And people, you'll find without even saying it, people make an effort. This is my jeans and a blazer, and that's my business casual. We've got one guy working for us, which is not on purpose. It's and the rest are women, but you'll see everybody's made a kind of a special effort to look a bit smarter when we have a client coming. But it's not something that I'm really fussed about, to be honest.
It doesn't.
Your ability to do the job is way more important to me than the shoes you're wearing.
And in terms of the interview process for this person then, is it the same 3-round process?
Yes, it is.
Okay, but instead maybe they would be given an administration task to get done. While they're in.
Okay. So the 3 stages is in place because, again, it's after getting big enough now where I'm kind of like, well, I want the managers to have more of an input in terms of who they will have on their teams. So rather than me just interviewing somebody and saying, well, Conor, I really like you, I'm going to offer you the job. I do believe that 3 heads are better than one. And we've had better results when they've gone through that process. We've got better results at the end of it.
Did something happen in your business where you decided to kind of tighten that process, where you were just like, really like to look at you, come on in, and then a week later they're gone, and all of a sudden you have spent so much money on getting a laptop and everything set up? Because there is a cost to employing people as well, right?
There is.
And it's a hidden cost that the employee might not see.
They don't see it. Now, everybody who has been through the Bypress recruitment process and have gone on, I wish them the very, very best. We have been stung on occasions where people have come in and done really quite good interviews and then just have turned out to really, really not. It was like night and day.
Yeah.
There was a couple of times people, suddenly they're afraid of being on the phone. They don't want to make a phone call. They don't want, I'm embarrassed to make a phone call in front of you. Like, what am I meant to do with that? It's unfortunate, but you do learn as you go. And you will always get caught. That's part of it. If you've been through that many people, there's going to be one or two who simply don't work out.
Yeah.
And that's just the way.
As a business owner, right, and you're in business 7 years, have you ever had to fire anybody, or how did that feel?
Horrible, horrible. It doesn't matter what they've done. It doesn't matter how much you want them to be gone. To do it it's horrible. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Because I'm a mum. I'm quite a softie.
Yeah.
I was called a softie this morning. Literally by one of the managers because something went wrong. I flipped out about it completely.
Yeah.
No, he has to obey the rules. And then half an hour later, I'm like, oh, right, okay, look, we'll do this. And she said, you big softie. But I think that's what keeps me honest as well. If I become any harder, I think I'll be betraying myself.
Yeah.
But it is horrible. It is horrible, but it is a necessary evil because, I'm pointing up here a lot because it's like the vision of what I want Bypress to become. That's where I want everybody to go.
Yeah.
And like my big thing, I'm, with a business coach at the moment, and we talk every week, but we have kind of sessions maybe every fortnight. I've talked out, he has said to me, what do you want out of this? And like, I'm not saying, well, I want to become rich.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, have 50 people reporting into me. It's nothing like that. What I want actually is stability. Right. I want stability for myself, stability for my family. But I also want the 5-6 people that are working for me now, I want them to have stability and I want them to have security and I want them to have pensions and I want them to have a career and I want them to be fulfilled by that career. They'll never have the same passion as I have.
For the business.
But they can get a little bit. I mean, certainly there are people who work for me now and I can see that little glimmer of passion where they get ownership over something and when it goes well, they get that buzz the same as me, and that's what I want.
That's a job well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What's been like, as an entrepreneur, right, and the business that you're in, you're client-centric, right? Like, what's been the biggest hurdle you've had to overcome as like an entrepreneur yourself?
I suppose when in the job that we're in, where we do outsourced admin, it is managing the expectations of the client as well. So we have 24 clients on the books at the moment, and that for us is, that's full time for 7 people, or for 6 people, whatever. We talked about this earlier on, 7 people, and everybody is full time, flat to the mat, servicing those 24 clients. There are certain clients who think you should be more available to them, and I think the biggest hurdle for me has been to try and pull back from that day to day. I hate bookkeeping. Yeah. I don't like it myself. I love going out and getting a new client for bookkeeping, but I hate doing it myself. Yeah. It's not my thing. It's being able to pull back from the day-to-day operations myself, which frees me up to go and grow and be strategic and all those lovely buzzwords.
On the business, not in the business.
Yeah, that's been the biggest hurdle. It's managing the client's expectations and managing the clients that they realise that while I sold it to them, it might not be me necessarily actually doing the work.
Okay, and that's difficult. Okay, but you're always there as like a point of escalation.
Oh, absolutely. I speak to my clients every day. Yeah. Not all of them, but there's the one that I hear least from is probably you. That's true.
Girls do a good job.
The girls do a great job. If somebody needs to speak to me, I'm always there. Yeah. But no offense to anybody, if I don't hear from a client, generally it means they're happy. Yeah. If I'm hearing from them every day, then there's something not quite right with our processes, and that's where we need to address it.
Yeah, it was because I suppose a business like yours is really good as well for a smaller business that's looking to scale but can't afford the full-time employees, right?
Exactly.
So it was actually one of my army buddies that introduced me to you, Ian. But basically the big problem I had in my business was cash flow, right? We were like nearly going out of business at one stage, but you know, I was like shared the problem with a friend, and he's like, I have a solution. And then I kind of had yourself, you actually came here and met me, we've moved out and moved back in since. But yeah, like it's been like phenomenal, like the peace of mind, just knowing, it'll be.
Well, I'm like, I always love hearing it. For your account, I cannot take any of the praise at all. That's Emily out and out. She made that her baby. You know, and she enjoys working with you. You know, you've developed a great relationship over the years, and I think that's the biggest testament to what we do. And as well, you know, what we give our clients, like you said, even apart from the credit control side of things, like we've got other clients that came on board with us for credit control and maybe something else, but those clients love picking the phone up. So I'm about to hire somebody now. Would you know somebody who does this? My insurance is up for renewal. Would you know somebody now that I could talk to? And I'm a part of a networking group as well.
The BNI,
The BNI networking group. So I'm the president, or the outgoing president of the group in Nace. They're called BNI Millennium. And what I've found with BNI over the last 12 months, I think I've only just renewed, so it's 12 months, I am now connected to so many people. I'm like the master connector. Like all of my family, if they've got insurance renewals coming up, it's like, who are you dealing with now for the insurance? Because they know they'll get a good deal, they'll get, you know, a premium service. But all of the clients that we have, they all tend to come to me looking for advice, and as well because I'm so honest about mistakes that I've made. I'm so honest about the growth, you know, the amount of growing that we've done, and you know, when things go wrong, I'm very honest about it. You know, if we make a mistake, we're the first ones to hold our hands up and say, that's our mistake, but what can we do to fix this? We are literally on your team. That's the.
It does. I actually feel like I'm friends with Emily.
Yes. and she feels the same. Yeah. Without being any way cheesy, that is, you know, she is your ultimate remote employee. She is your credit controller. That's what she does, and that is her. And you are her priority, you know, and getting the money in and the payments in for you, that's her priority. And she cares. You know, when you're dealing, there's certain clients that prove to be more challenging than others. When she's having a challenge with your clients, you'd swear they owed her the money. That's the way, that's the level of caring that we have. And that can't be taught. That's caring about your job, and that's caring about your client. That's a personality thing.
It's a good service level that you guys have. But if people want to find you, right, and like avail of your services or apply for the job, right? Where can they avail of your services firstly? And then secondly, then where can they find the ad to apply for the job? Or
so I've advertised on Indeed. There's a couple of other job adverts going up as of this morning. So my email address is Caitriona@bypress.ie. If you look at bypress.ie and click on contact us, that'll come through to me.
BYPRESS.
Exactly. BYPRESS.ie. That will come through to me. But if you just Google it, like our phone number is there, contact us. You know, if they want to avail of our service or they just want a bit of advice, you know, you'll find that people will have this notion, oh, well, for that particular role, I have to have somebody in-house. I have to have somebody in front of me. Sometimes it's true. Sometimes it's true. Often it's not. Ring me, have a chat, we'll have a talk about it. I can show you and I can introduce you to clients that it's working really well for. We're always available.
And if someone wants to apply for a job, is a CV important, right? Or if they just made a phone call, would you meet with them?
A CV is kind of important. Only because we have to have something to read to kind of
have the conversation.
But like there was, you know, so I do admire somebody if they've got a little bit of persistence in them. You know, there are certain people who've contacted me off the back of looking at an ad on Indeed, for example, but they didn't apply on Indeed. They picked up the phone, found my mobile number and rang me. And that to me is kind of like, well, fair play to you. That makes you stand out straight away.
Definitely.
But they'll get me anyway. Either ring me or apply through Indeed. And I'm quite good with going back to people. We try and make sure, and particularly if they've been in for an interview, I try and make a habit of, if they haven't been successful, that I go back to them. I've even found in certain interviews where I know in the interview I'm not going to hire that person for whatever reason. Got to remember the interview went on for nearly an hour with one guy because we were going through his CV. His CV was just awful. it was so long and there was so much irrelevant information in it. But I ended up giving him kind of like a little masterclass in what I wanted to see as an employer.
Yeah.
So apart from anything else, I hope it wasn't an hour of his time that was wasted. You know, he got some good advice that way.
Okay, brilliant. Look, thanks very much for coming on. That was a great conversation. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, you'll find the link to Caitriona's website in the description below. And if you enjoyed the episode, if you could give it a like and follow, that'd be great. Thanks for listening.